So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And tonight we have a pop punk band from Dallas, Texas. They're called Offended by Everything. And they're going to release a new EP called We Are Safe for Now on April 11th. And I have two members from the band right now with me. So first of all, guys, how are you tonight in Dallas, Texas?
A little tired, but I'm good. Life's good.
Yeah,
Doing well, man.
yeah. So the funny thing is, yeah, when I like for people who are watching, we're doing this on a Sunday night, and the boys just did a few shows that ended Saturday. Tell me a little bit about the shows you were doing. I was following you guys on Instagram, and I saw that you posted some stuff of the shows that you have this weekend.
Yeah, so we played two shows in Kansas, which we live in Texas, so Kansas to can like it's like a 7.5 hour drive between the furthest city, which was in Hayes. So we played in Wichita first, and we played in Hayes. But each night had over 500 people there, and the first night in Wichita sold out all the way, which is super cool. So we got to tour with I'm actually in another band as well, a band called Van Full of Nuns, and we got to jump on that, which was really good for us. But we were the direct support band, and first time we got to play a couple of our new songs, which was good for us.
Awesome. So first, before tell us your name and what you do in the band.
Josh, you can go first.
Yeah. My name is Joshua Sparkowicz. I play drums in the band. I also do some background vocals.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Jarrett Adloff. I've been in this band since the beginning. It was my baby, and then I play guitar and a little bit of background vocals as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And I today I watched the music video that you had for the single that you put out last year. The one is called It's Tuesday, uh, which I thought it was great because at first you have someone that's like going to play like the piano. So I thought it was funny. And I also heard that cover that you did for the Blink 182 cover album. And you picked a different one. She's out of her mind. So you picked a newer one. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So tell us a little bit about, for people that don't know Offended by Everything, like how you guys got together, like a 5 minute quick history of the band.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I don't know, like it dates back to 2016, which is kind of crazy. But I was just writing some songs and was like, hey man, I think the songs are kind of good, so I need to start recruiting members. And then I think I put out a Craigslist thing, which is weird to find musicians. And I ran into Zach, who's our vocalist, and he was pretty young at the time. I mean, 18, 19, and I'm like an adult, you know what I mean? Like I got kids. Uh, but like I don't know, it fit the style really good because we were kind at the time we were shooting for like all time low, state champs, stuff like that. And we released an EP and it did pretty well. And then we got Josh. It's funny. You mentioned the Tuesday video. So the guy at the beginning of the video where we're like, next, get out of there. He was actually our bass player. So when we me, Zach, Josh, and his name is Andrew, we were signed to a label called Standby Records and released our first like big like label record. And that was the unit, and it was really really awesome. And that was the unit up until we took a break, and then when we got back together, all four of us were like, hey, let's do this thing again. And then Andrew had like an unfortunate injury. So instead of like replacing him because he's still our boy, we started tracking bass and we got Jared, our other guitar player, who's like insane. So he's so good and he's been so helpful to us, which he actually we've never done this before. We always go to producers, but he produced our album, and we wouldn't just do that to like save money. That's not a thing. If it didn't sound good, we're not going to do that, but like we're really stoked with the way that this album came out. I know I spoke a lot, Josh, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, writing this EP that we're about to release, at the four of us together, and kind of being able to be a part of every aspect of it, and really just trust our guts and put it together. It was a really really awesome experience, because that's the first time we've done it in that style, like doing everything ourselves since we've been a band.
Yeah, well, it seems right now in 2025 that a lot of bands are doing more things themselves, and like if it can sound good and you can save money, why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, as long
Absolutely.
as the quality is good, like you got to have good quality and good marketing. And instead of putting our money into the recording because we could do it great, we put our money into marketing. And we just want to make sure our songs get heard. And so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about the EP soon, but let's talk about like because I heard different type of influences in your band and also on the newer songs. So tell me a little bit about and each one can say like what got you into this style of like I like how you describe it in your Spotify. Like, hey, you're aggressive sad pop punk.
Yeah. So yeah, initially I'm a little old school, so like I grew up on like Blink-182 and bands like that. And then when I really got into like pop punk, like All Time Low and that kind of stuff was like kind of how it got. But then as we molded with Zach, like I feel like the sound really changed, and then it became more like A Day to Remember, a little bit like, more aggressive. And like the story so far, just with a good live show. And so it molded out of like more typical, and now it's a little like it's heavy-ish, but it's still poppy. It's like heavy pop, which is cool. And then I know that like Josh has a different like it's funny because the style of music he listens to is way different, and I'll let him talk about that because that's helped us a lot on drums too.
Yeah, I would say my introduction to pop punk was probably bands like Mayday Parade, bands like Citizen, and I've grew up listening to a lot of rock music. I feel like once I got into my 20s, I started listening to more like hip hop and R&B, even some EDM. So I really kind of enjoy all different types of music, and I definitely have tried to bring some different elements rhythmically into the band while keeping it pop punk still. Definitely, as far as drums, Mayday Parade was always an inspiration because their drummer does vocals, and he crushes that when he does it live, and so that was always something. Also, like Aaron Gillespie, just bands that have great drums but also strong backing vocals behind them.
Yeah. So cool, man. So Jared, I saw that you mentioned A Day to Remember, and I put some notes on my stuff because I put like there's some songs here that A Day to Remember wish that they would sound like now. Uh, I'm not a fan of the last albums for A Day to Remember. I even did a Is It That Bad episode for their last one because I was not a fan. But on this EP, you have the hardest. I think the song that goes the hardest, and it reminded me of like A Day to Remember was the Optimist.
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, that's got to be our best comp, right? Is A Day to Remember, just based off of how we went. We could go heavy, or we could go like we even had like a ballad on there too. But yeah, they've gone more mainstream, which is okay. We wrote songs that we like though. So like The Optimist, that was a really interesting write because um I think it's okay to say Jared is like I've always played lead guitar in this band, and then when we got Jared, like he's better than I am. And so when we started writing that song, I was like, dude, we need like a heavy one. And he was like, how about this? And he just started playing that riff, and I was like, no, that's perfect. And so so he came from like metal, like he was in like metal bands and metalcore bands and things like that in the past. So he was able to like write the like kind of the really heavy riff part. Obviously Zach wrote the vocals, but when it came to like the pre-chorus and the chorus, like that's more like I'm always been like catchy, like I was like it's got to be easy on the ears, it's got to catch. And so like I kind of hit that part, so it was cool to hear the genres mold, and it does very much feel like that, like the heyday of A Day to Remember, if that makes sense. Like it was like you know what I'm saying, if they had put that out on Homesick, you'd be like, yes, I get it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got that song, and obviously there's a single right now that it's the second song on the EP. I'm better now, which is a great song. The singer writes the lyrics, or do you all contribute lyrically?
He generally writes the lyrics. Yeah, like in the past, it was kind of a me and him combo effort, but like towards the last few albums, he really took, and he should. Like I'm good with it. Like if he's out there singing, and it needs to be his stories. So on this one, like Better Now, he wrote all the lyrics. And there was one song on there, "Keep It All Inside," that I like helped with. Because sometimes it's like you get stuck, and it's cool to take a group effort, but like we try and like if he wants to do it, he should, right? And so he wrote the lyrics to "Better Now," and they're really really good. And that so far that single has been doing really well, and we're stoked on it.
Yeah, I like it because it has like a positive message. I think it's about mental health and struggling with stuff and admitting that okay, I'm now I went through some stuff. So yeah, and it's got that pop punk like appeal to it, like kind of like a little bit of emo because
Mhm.
when you put like that pop punk, I'm like, isn't that emo? like,
Yeah, he and I wish he was here because he could tell you more, but the band has grown up as he has grown up, and I think that's okay to say. He's in a completely different place than we were when we first were like touring and playing a lot more. And it's cool to watch like Zach's growth. And you can hear it in his lyrics too, right? Like his lyrics, like they were always so like, and we still have some like, like we're a punk band, so we're gonna have some crazy lyrics, but like and sometimes you can hear like in some of the words and stuff in the branding and messaging he says it's like more positive, which is cool.
yeah, and this is the artwork that's for the single alone. For the I'm Better Now. And it's a pretty, tell me a little bit about what you guys were going for on this. I think it's a picture, right?
Yeah, I can speak, Josh, unless you had something you wanted to say on the art. Otherwise, I can.
I would say this EP feels like the most mature thing that we've done as a band. And honestly, heading into summer, um, I think that the artwork series that we did for this just kind of really represents, growth and change, and also like kind of a nostalgic feel to it. Um, Kind of summer themes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we.
would.
Oh,
So I
there's
know
Jared.
uh, that Jared got online. So Jared, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you have Jared and Jared.
It's
Uh,
confusing.
so we were just talking some trash about you. No, I'm kidding.
It's all good. It's all good.
They were they were praising that you came more from a core background, and looking at you, you have that look of like more.
Yeah,
So you wrote that like awesome heavy riff in The Optimist.
yeah. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like we want to bust out a heavy one, and Jarrett, he was automatically like, oh yeah, this is Jared's bread and butter here. So absolutely, it was fun.
Yeah. So Jared, you also play guitar. So I've already talked to Joshua and Jared about like their influences. For you, Jared, what were your influences?
Man, I would say probably starting out guitar, like Bullet for My Valentine, Killswitch Engage, those type bands. That was really what I loved doing, like when I was starting out. But now it's kind of gone everywhere. With pop punk, I mean, I'm really into like knuckle puck and stuff right now, so it fits the mold.
Yeah, Knuckle Puck. They put out an album last year that I really enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're great, man. I was kind of late to the party with them, but
Yeah, no, I like it that there's a lot of pop punk like emo bands. Also, I got into Real Friends. Uh,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I got into like there's like a I like it because there's been a huge resurgence for pop punk and for like grunge and shoegaze bands, and that's what I grew up listening to in the '90s. So it's good that it's getting like a resurgence and like newer bands doing this stuff. Uh,
absolutely.
Killswitch Engage. Yeah, I also love that band.
There's just Adam G, their guitar player, man. He's such a genius when it comes to guitar riffs and stuff. It's so catchy. It's good.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
I'm
so
surprised. I'm surprised how good Jared's doing because he got super drunk yesterday.
Honestly, man, I'm still licking my wounds.
He
I need
was
a beer to be honest.
he was crazy.
when I was scheduling this interview, I saw that I think I told her, and he's like, "Oh, can you do like a Sunday?" I'm like, and then I saw that you guys were like the day before. I'm like, "Wow, that's like
Yeah.
We're
No,
both
I just walked in my apartment.
We're professionals. It's fine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't mind talking to Sunday to cool people. So yeah, there's a song on the record that I want to ask you if it's a reference to a movie. The last one, Nothing to See Here. Is that from The Naked Gun?
I'm sure it isn't. There's no way. Yeah. I like that movie, don't get me wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that's probably, I don't know. Zach was the one that named that, right?
Yeah, sometimes he wants the names to be like, how Fall Out Boy used to have those really long names for no particular reason. Like we had a song that came out like I don't know, 2 years ago called Maybe That Fifth Round Wasn't Such a Good Idea. And I was just like, oh my gosh, but yeah, it's fine. So I don't think so, but that would be I do love that movie. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just when I saw I was thinking of that scene of Leslie Nielsen, like Nothing to See Here, and then
I like I like the scene where he's umpiring the game.
But
I wish I knew this movie. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it.
It's,
yeah, but,
yeah.
but the EP has everything. Then you have like a song that starts with a more like acoustic, like more like ballady with Keep It All Inside, which I like. You in 5 songs, you give heavy, you give softer, you give pop punk, you give emo, all in 5 tracks. So are you guys? I know you're going to release this now, but and I've talked to bands before. Do you prefer like doing EPs over albums in this damn age?
Yeah, no, it's a good topic because we debated a long time because I'm almost more on like just singles because the problem is unless you're known, what happens with an album is like you hear the song you want and then you just go to the next band and listen to the next song. So like I stress about like Keep It All Inside, the one you just talked about, that's going to be the single with the album. And so like The Optimist is awesome, right? And it may not get heard that much unless people really want to listen to Offended by Everything because it's coming out with the album with the other 4 songs. And so yeah, to answer your point, I don't know that unless we sign some major deal, I don't know that we'll ever do a full length album because I just don't know that that makes a lot of sense. But EPs are doable and manageable, especially the way that we did this last one with Jared, recording. It was it was a lot easier for me. I don't know.
Right.
So Jared, tell me about recording this.
Oh man, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we scheduled just every week to do at least like a Tuesday. Like I think most days it fell on a Tuesday. We just got together once a week and just sat in a room and we're like, hey man, like let's just figure it out. Let's bust out a heavy one or let's do more of a poppy song or whatever. And I mean, all 4 of us just sat in a room and just busted out these songs together, which was really cool. Because that was the first time that we've all done that as this 4-piece. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been recording and stuff for off and on for years. I've always been that guy that's like, oh, I'll do the demos or whatever. But this go around, it was just like, hey, like we do everything ourselves now in this band, so it was like it just kind of made sense to do it and all put our finishing touches on it. But yeah, I mean, it was probably what few months that we worked on this EP.
Yeah, most of the winter.
Yeah. I mean, kind of took a break during the holidays, kind of all focus on family and stuff. But then, yeah, I mean, we finished recording it, I think the end of February. And then I spent a couple of weeks mixing it and busted out. Yeah, I'm definitely stoked with how it turned out for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. Jared brings up a good point because like we all did it together, but like in this band, we all have roles, and it's been so nice this like second iteration, I guess is the best way to say it, because we did take a little bit of a break. But like Jared handles the recording, and Josh does everything that is merch because he's good at that side, and marketing is me, and then Zach runs socials. So like we all have like roles and responsibilities, which has been it hasn't always been that way in the past. Like there was like me, Josh, and Zach right before Jared, and then like we'd have other people that sometimes would come and go and do things, and this has been so easy that like it's just been like a machine. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a good way because everyone contributes, and it's like when you do like when you're in college or school, and you have to do like a group project, and there's always that asshole that doesn't do anything.
No, for sure. For sure.
That ends up at the end like, hey, what's the project about? And so Joshua, you do the merch.
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me a little bit about the merch that you guys have available right now for people who want to buy.
So we've been trying to make some merch lately to represent the new EP coming out. Um, so I basically do all of our printing for the shirts. I print them myself. Yeah, we just came out with a new shirt that has the back of the shirt has the EP and the name of it. The front has our name with some butterflies, but we're going to be definitely doing some more styles that are kind of themed, off of the EP to try to, I guess, brand this new iteration of the band. Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like this is the most excited I've been about this band since I've been in it, just with the new direction and how cohesive we all feel together, playing together, working together. It feels very balanced, and I feel like especially in 2025 when everyone's busy and it's really good to have that balance to where everyone feels like they're carrying their weight. I think it's really positive for the energy. I think you have bands where a couple people are carrying the brunt of the weight of being a band. It's tough, and so it feels really good to be in this space with these guys.
Yeah. Plus, yeah, it's good to have merch. So when you play shows, I know you just got doing some shows, but I think you have some shows next month too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm stoked. We're going to we have played Nashville before, but not like this is going to be awesome. We're playing Nashville, and we get to play East Side, which is going to be a really cool venue. And then we're going to Memphis, and then we're going to Springfield. So a couple new markets for this band, which is great. And then we come home and we have like our actual EP release show where we're going to play the EP front to back, as well as like some old favorites and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. When is that EP release show?
So that is May 2nd. Did I get that right? Is that the right day?
I think you're
I
right.
booked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I booked
I
it.
second guessed myself for a minute. I was like,
that's
wait.
May 2nd.
It's the first Friday of May. I know that. And that's at Texas Tea Room in Dallas. I do a lot of booking. I book a lot of shows in Dallas outside of just offended by everything. And so locally, anything that we play local, I pretty much am gonna book it. Because then we can like pick the bands we want with us, and kind of do the whole thing. And then on the road, like we prefer to play with like bands that are bigger than us on the road so that like we there's also additional people because we'll draw certainly, but like it's nice when everyone's kind of pulling their weight. And we got really lucky on this last run because we got to play two markets that, I mean, again, over 500 people were there each show this weekend, and it was incredible. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I can respect you guys doing it all yourself because I also do everything myself. Like, so it's good, when you do stuff and you get people, 500 people at a show that you may get people who haven't heard you because they're going to see the other band and then they'll become fans of your band. So for you guys, and each can give a different answer. Like, what would be like being band for you to?
did you say a band that we would want to open for? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a dream band, like to open a show for.
Personally, like I mean, the two that I could think of, Josh said one of them earlier, like Mayday Parade is one of my favorite bands, and then Silverstein would be the other one. Like I love both of those are like my two big influence bands. So for me that would be awesome. And those things are tangible. Like realistically, like that stuff could happen. Like I realize you could say like, oh, Blink-182 and Green Day because of the sheer size of the audience, but that wouldn't be like the one that I'd be like, yes, that's for me. So Jared.
Yeah, I would probably. I mentioned it earlier, like bands like Neck Deep, or like I even said earlier, like Knuckle Puck's like been a really big band that I've been obsessed with lately. But like those two type bands, like if we got one of those, I would die. Like, it would be so sick.
Nice. What about you?
I was definitely gonna say Neck Deep.
Sorry, Josh.
So I would say probably something like The Story So Far.
Okay, cool choices. So the name of the band, Offended by Everything. Is there a story behind the name?
Yeah, no, I mean, so it's so funny because when you hear the name, no matter what happens, it's going to be one of two things. Number one, you're like, yeah, that's kind of funny. Or number two, you're going to be like, no, they can't do that. But no matter what happens, you're going to stop and you're going to listen, right? And that's what a good band name is. It's like you got to stop and listen. Like what Josh was talking about shirts earlier, you literally could take Offended by Everything and put it on a shirt, nothing else, and it's going to sell because you know what I mean? Because it's funny, and we're not making fun of like the woke culture. We're not making fun of like we're making fun of ourselves. You know what I mean? Like it's that's not a thing. Like we just don't take ourselves too seriously. Like we are a serious band, but we're like we're fun, outgoing, and if nothing else, like I will forever that will be my favorite band name because it catches you so easily, and that's what you want to do when making a band name. So to any band out there, pro tip, um, don't make it too generic because people are going to scroll right by.
Yeah, that you know what? When I saw the name, that's what caught my eye. I'm like, oh, I thought like this is brilliant, because I'm like, I'm sure they make it like it's a tongue in cheek and like not taking yourself too seriously, but it did grab my attention because I get a lot of promo for bands, and that name I saw pop punk offended by everything. I'm like, oh, I like their name, so I should
Yeah,
have the music.
yeah, we got you in, and then you get to listen to the music, and then it's fine. That's what you hope for. Like, hey, just at least stop and listen, and then I feel like our music's good enough that like they'll stay, and so that's the hope.
Yeah. Or if not, you'll get those those YouTube comments. I'm offended by your music.
Yeah, which is fine too, because I'll take the negative comments as much as I will the good one. I don't care. Pub is pub.
Yep.
But it's funny when I do a album review of a band and I praise it, I get less views. But when I say something sucks, like oh my god, people like my best series is the one that is called "Is It That Bad?" where we take a look at albums that and we think they're bad and we discuss, and that's my most the series that most watch. So yeah, it's interesting. So I like the stories. It's just something that grabbed you. So I want to show the artwork of the EP that's coming out, so we can talk about the artwork of the EP, and you can tell me a little bit about the story behind it. So here we have it. So tell me a little bit about what you were going for with this.
Um,
You got this,
so
Jared.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of work with an artist locally out of DFW named Daniel Hambright. He owns like a business called Alinea. And he'll do a lot of our like in the past, pretty much all of our album art came from him. And then he'll do sometimes like videos for us, and music videos. He didn't do the last music video, but the prior ones he did. But with this one, kind of like what Josh was talking about earlier, we wanted something more mature. And the Tuesday art also is similar to the Better Now art, even though Tuesday's not actually not on this album. So we kind of wanted to like show that we're growing up, but then the vintage look is cool. And the reason we found this is because I don't remember what we were going to call the album, uh, but Zach was adamant about wanting to call it "We're Safer Now," and to be
What?
fair, I didn't even realize that it was because he has that as a lyric in one of our songs, and it's in the first song, and I
Mm.
caught that later. So then the vintage kind of look, it's creating a new like era for us, and we're gonna kind of like just little sneak peek kind of theme the shows around the throwback as well, which will be cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a cool picture, and it explains a lot from what you listen to in the music. So, uh, does it like does everyone have like a favorite track of this upcoming EP, and why it's your favorite track?
I think definitely I'm Better Now is probably one of my favorite tracks that we've ever done. It's really fun to play, and it's just I don't know, it's very uplifting. I really enjoy that one.
That's a really mature sound too. Like for this band, like I mean, I've only been a part of this band for about a year, so this is the only second release that I've been a part of with this project. But yeah, I'm Better Now. That one's it's just it's a sick like radio rock song. Like it can cater to such a big audience. But if I had to pick a favorite, I think "Keep It All Inside" would be my favorite. I didn't think it would be, but that song is just so like I keep saying mature sounding, but like it's just so good. I'm biased, but I don't know. Like that song just hits in a way I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I agree with both. Those are my top two, certainly. I mean, I do like all the songs, but
Yeah.
I think "Keep It All Inside" ended up being my favorite. And the funny thing about that song is it was the last one we wrote. Like we were like, no, we need like a because we always have like the acoustic or the emo song on the album. Like we always have one. And we didn't this time. And like the actual like, kind of that stuff, like you mentioned Real Friends, like that kind of style. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was just playing around and I sent Jared this like little riff, and then obviously we dropped it a key to make it make like more us. And then it's so cool because I know bands do this, but we haven't done this before where it like starts out clean and then ends really heavy and aggressive. And so like the creating that was really fun because it started from like, oh, like maybe we'll use this, and then we all were in the same room together and finished it and made it like awesome. And that's gonna be like the next single with the album.
Yeah, no, it's a cool song. And something that I think a lot of people, when they think of pop punk, they think it's just like humor and crude. But last year, the story so far released an amazing pop punk album about like about dealing with the death of my father, which I thought like was like brilliant. And I thought that it was brilliant because they were songs that were fun. Because when I first, before I listened to the album and I first heard what it was about, it was like, that sounds like a bummer. Like it's going to be very sad, but and so I think it's something that's been done. And well, Blink 182 is a perfect example of like doing like a very a song about like stuff that I probably can mention here or I'll get demonetized. They write serious songs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we can kind of take it either direction, which is fun. So yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. And sometimes you feel like, oh, this song's poppy, so it has to be uplifting. But sometimes the poppy songs have the most messed up lyrics, you know what I mean? And so it just depends on like what you're feeling that day, and it's all good. Like I feel like all five of these songs could be singles, which is a good feeling. So
Oh yeah, the only one we haven't discussed is Potential. The EP, but it's a cool one.
Yeah, I think Potential, that song, Zach and I started that song right after we released It's Tuesday last year. And that was like always the song that was like, this is going to be the opener. It's not like a full, 3, 4 minute song. It's, I don't know. The whole time we've been doing the song, I just always call it a fake song. Like it's not a real song. Like it's like a minute and like 40 seconds or something like that. It's just kind of like you get in and you get out. But the whole, yeah, like Jarrett was mentioning earlier, like the whole "we're safe for now" thing, Zach was just stuck on that, and that's like the last line of that song vocally. But it starts out slow, and then it blows up in your face basically, and then I mean it's a sick song. It's fun.
I definitely think it sets the tone for the record.
Yeah.
And I think, when we were writing it, the feeling we were trying to capture is being in a packed, sweaty club where you're screaming the lyrics that you love back to, a band that you paid a few bucks to see when they came to your small town. And that's something I think we all loved growing up, being a part of pop punk music, emo music, whatever you want to call it. And yeah.
Yeah, no. So yeah, no, it's a fun EP. I enjoyed it. So it's going to be out April 11th. Is there going to be like physical copies for people who want to buy it?
yeah, I know it's funny because like sometimes people like these days are doing vinyl, but vinyl is so expensive. And so you've got to be like on the road a lot to make it make sense. We're gonna print CDs for better or worse. Like we at these shows we've been to, we still had some of our older albums and they still sell. And I think that I don't know that people are listening to them. I think people are just keeping them as collector. And whichever way, if they have a CD player, it's awesome. But we're definitely printing them. And so yeah, we'll have them. We'll probably once the album comes out, we'll get up an online store too, so that people can like order and stuff. We're we're still branding that part, but we're playing a lot of shows, so they will certainly be available at all of our shows.
Awesome. And where can they follow you on the socials?
At Offended Band on Instagram and Twitter or X, Instagram and X. And it's Offended Band, even though we're offended by everything. Offended Band, and then same thing for Facebook. Offended Band, and those are the three we use the most. We're on Instagram probably the most of the three. But yeah, they follow us. We interact. We respond to everybody and everything. So yeah, hit us up.
Awesome. So guys, it's been great sharing with you. You're very down to earth and likable, and which is good because I want to speak to likable people at 10 at night on a Sunday night.
For sure.
We're hungover. I'm just out here hydrating. It's
No,
Hungover is an understatement today.
yeah. So Jared, are you on that phase that you drink so much they're like, I'm never drinking again?
I don't know about all that. I'm probably gonna go get a beer here in a minute, to be honest. But
You need
dog.
hydrate from the binge stuff. So yeah, no, but it's fun. So I'll put the link for people who want to pre-order the EP, or like, can it be pre-ordered?
It can be, so you can pre-save it right now. So, and you can pre-order on Apple Music.
What? We can't end the interview now because the singer just joined.
Wow, Zach's just that guy.
He can at least introduce himself, even though we're done.
What's up, guys? Yeah, hey, that was a hell of an interview. I'll tell you what. I'm glad we talked about a lot of barriers, a lot of things, a lot of good stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know we were talking about it, but yeah, like now that you're here, we can talk a little bit about since you joined here. Like I was gonna end it now, but you joined. I'm like, no. Yeah, Zach, tell us a little bit about your lyrical process for this EP.
So I guess the lyrical process kind of comes down to the way that we've always done our songs with this band, except for one that's on the EP, but it was just something that kind of came to me in like a repetitive fever dream. Usually the guys will write the instrumental, or I'll be in the room with them, and then I immediately just start thinking melodies in my head. Then I start thinking words. Then I start thinking, how can people? What's the right verbiage I can use to connect? That's a little bit on how I go, but also everyone connects with other people differently. Mine may not work the same for somebody else, but I'm grateful for the people that it does work with.
Yeah, no, I was discussing before you joined about like the lyrics. Like, of course, I'm better now.
Yeah.
A pretty deep song. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for "I'm Better Now"?
Yeah, it's just about my sobriety. I've had a bit of a journey with addiction and recovery, and it's just a little bit about that. Like there's a lot of people that I would like to apologize to, but I can't. But all I can do is just be better now. It's almost like, hey, I'm sorry I did that, but I'm better now, and I want you to try to move forward. But it's not up to me if they want to go forward with me. It's up to them. But it's just about opening that door and letting people know that you're actively working on yourself and making these things happen.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
I ask everyone, what's your favorite song from this record and why?
Oh man, it's got to be the last one on the track. Nothing to See Here. Move Along. It was a really fun, bouncy one. It's something that I think is just going to hit live because the live shows are so important to us. I mean, as they are for any band, but we connect with it on a different level together as a group. So whenever we're all on the same page of the music that we're playing, it just makes it extra special. And this is just one of those songs where it all came together like that for us. So it's just got a special place in my heart.
Awesome. And now that I have it here, because I had a CD question about that track, is that a reference to The Naked Gun?
A reference to The Naked Gun?
Yes.
No, God. Yeah, it is.
It could be. It could be.
It is. It's
You heard
I
it
couldn't
here
remember-
first.
I couldn't remember what movie it was, but I remember one time my friend was having a panic attack, and like she was just straight up like full face of makeup ruin just running down her face. And I was like, "Hey, dude, are you good?" She's like, "Nothing to see here. Move along." And she just like walked away, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I kind of keep that mindset in my head, like nothing to see here. Just mind your fucking business. Move along.
That's not part in a movie, but yeah, that
Yeah.
I saw it. I'm like, I wonder if that's from the
But-
movie. So how was the show? I know you guys were playing some shows. How were the shows for you? The ones that you played this weekend?
And the shows were awesome. And it's always it's always different going into these smaller market shows because, it's really hard we don't, as a band our size, like we don't necessarily have the means to go there all the time. But when we do go there, we want it to be special. We want it to be an event, and we want people to have a good time and build a relationship with us just based off that alone. So at the end of the day, we're just looking for good hangs. Like we're just trying to play shows and hang out. And last night in Wichita, it genuinely felt like a hometown show. It felt better than a hometown show, you know. These people welcomed us into their homes, their community, and I think we did a pretty good job. I think they like us. At least the people the people that talked to me lied to my face, which hey, wouldn't be the first time, you know.
Awesome. And finally, like vocally with your vocals, did you have like some vocalists when you were growing up getting into this music that inspired you?
Yeah, I definitely a lot of more hardcore vocalists like Shane Told from Silverstein. I loved Silverstein, and I immediately latched onto his vocals. Parker Cannon from The Story So Far. For a while, I tried to emulate that, but then I realized all those years of voice lessons in high school and choir, it's not gonna that wall's up. I can't go past that one anymore. So I just kind of settle for what I got now, and I'm happy with it. I think like yeah, I take inspiration from those guys, but I like to kind of separate myself from them, and hopefully, if they hear a song, they can immediately go, "Oh, that's Offended by Everything," or "Oh, that's Zach." You know?
Awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, glad you got to join. So I can talk to the whole band. So
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. It's been a long, long day. I mean, I've been sitting down all day, but I've been driving while I was sitting. So, but like, you
when
know,
the agency said put a Sunday, and I saw that you guys had like two shows before. I'm like, that's a weird placing to put the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I'm glad you guys were up for it. And usually I don't interview bands on Sundays, but I love the EP. It's
Oh,
fun,
thank you.
pop punk, and I love pop punk. So I was glad. I love metal too, but sometimes I want to talk about stuff that isn't about zombies or,
Yeah, yeah,
or like being brutal.
yeah.
So the that I asked for Zach, because I already asked the three members, is like, if you could, what would be like a dream band that you would like to open for?
A dream band to open for. Uh, I'm like, can I do it? Can it be selfishly, or can it just be like any reason, or there?
You can be selfish, yeah.
I would love to open for the Beatles.
Bro, what?
Hear me out. It's the 60s. They're singing songs about holding hands, and it's like driving the girls crazy. Then we go up there, but we go up there before. Can you imagine? That would be so fucking sick. I guarantee we would have changed history. Not because it's us, but because it's that kind of music at that time.
I
It would've been
was not
sick.
expecting that at all.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, imagine your grandma talking about Offended by Everything today. Like they were as hot as the Beatles. If I had a time machine.
Is that terrible? I thought of that scene in Back to the Future where Marty plays the guitar and everyone's like looking at them.
He's
Like,
Yeah.
like,
All right, you
He's
guys aren't
like-
ready for that yet.
he goes, this is an oldie.
That's right.
But you know
God.
what? My girlfriend is going to love your answer because she thinks the Beatles are overrated. So
He's correct.
I mean,
Honest
that
to
is
God, yeah.
correct. That is correct. But also, I mean, like there wasn't much going on at the time either. So
yeah, that is
you know?
that is true. But I prefer to listen to the Beach Boys, honestly.
Okay.
Oh hell yeah, Beach Boy supremacy, man. I'm telling you.
I like
Yeah.
that take.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good take. That's a very nice take.
yeah. So, guys, before I let you go, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
No, just we appreciate it. Better Now's been doing, or I'm Better Now's been doing really good. And thanks for listening. You can find us on socials at Offended Band. If you're in Nashville, Memphis, or Springfield, we'll see you in April, and then back home in Dallas on May 2nd. So that's all. Anybody else have anything else to say? I'll stop talking.
I think you nailed all the major things for sure.
I think we're really excited, obviously for the April shows, but definitely for the EP release show that we're having in Dallas in May. I think it'll be a really cool experience to be able to play the full EP. We have a couple surprises. We're really excited to be able to show that to everyone.
Awesome. What about you, Zach?
Oh, I was just gonna say ditto. Yeah, I love these guys, and it's cool playing in front of a lot of people. It's cool playing in front of a little people, but it's cool better playing with my people. You know,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? I'm just excited to see where this goes. I think that this is a huge stepping stone in the band. We've busted our ass these last 2 years since coming back, so I think it's about time that we put something out there that has a piece of us in it.
Yeah, definitely hope everyone enjoys it as much as as we do for sure.
Yeah, no. So, Couchers, offended by everything. We are safe for now. Out on April 11th. So if you like pop punk, like aggressive pop punk or emo pop punk or whatever the fuck people call it now, listen to this EP. It's pretty cool, and they have a music video for a song they released last year called "It's Tuesday," which is a pretty cool video. Watch that. So. Again, I want to thank you guys, for joining me this Sunday night from Dallas here to Puerto Rico to talk about pop punk and lots of more stuff. So until next time, Couchers, this Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks.